her name is Wyatt, and you see him on stage with Johnny Carson.
Does everyone want that?
If she wasn't doing what she's doing now, she'd be working for the United Nations Press Office as a media spokesperson in New York. And something that nobody knows about her is that she is a karaoke champion. New South Wales karaoke champion in 2005.
Wow.
And then went on to compete in a national singing Tina Turner's Simply the Best.
Wow.
Thank you. I thought because this is actually my first 10-minute spot ever, I would just talk a little bit about my background, further to that. And then I might do a bit of a mini public speaking session. I've got a public speaking course next Monday night in Newcastle, so I thought I'd just give you a bit of a taste as to what participants can expect on that course, so that you might be able to refer the course on to other people. For those of you who aren't aware, but I actually am a trained journalist. Started my career my degree at Charles Sturt University in Bathurst. So I'm a Newcastle girl, left Cardiff at the age of 18, moved out 5 hours away to Bathurst. And when I got there, I looked around the room and I actually saw 80 blonde, beautiful, blue-eyed, big-breasted girls all wanting to host Getaway. Bathurst. The ratio is like 7 girls to 1 guy in the whole town. But they were doing the journalism degree and they all wanted to be on Getaway, and I thought, well, I have to compete with these girls. So I made a decision there and then to go everywhere and do work experience. So I went to Channel 7, Channel 9, Channel 10, Today Tonight, A Current Affair, ABC, was making cups of coffee for journalists, just trying to get my foot in the door. And then eventually, Today Tonight actually started giving me a bit of casual work. And when you're a 19-year-old junior researcher at Today Tonight, you don't get the sensational stories. I was getting stories where they would come up to me and they would say, Jaimie, we're doing a story about yogurt. Can you find a family in Sydney who eats a lot of yogurt? You ring up and you ring gyms, health food stores, and you find these people who you see on TV. Well, the show's been axed recently, so you don't see them anymore. But is that correct?
You're not doing it anymore.
No, yeah, I went downhill from there. I then moved my way up through different companies, and I got a job at Prime TV in Tamworth after doing a stint working for Alan Jones at 2GB Radio in Sydney. And I became a newsreader in Tamworth, where Meg's from. And I spent 3 years there, best 3 years of my life in good old Tamworth, became a newsreader, senior journalist, but wanted to achieve something a little bit different. So I then moved into politics. You see our Prime Minister here and our now Prime Minister having a bit of fun behind the scenes on the campaign trail, working for Bob Baldwin, who was the member for Patterson. Really loved it, fell in love with politics there and then. But during that year, I applied to join the Air Force Reserves. Unfortunately, the Howard government didn't win. 24th of November 2007, a very bit of a sad day. But by that stage, I had got into the Air Force. So I then came straight in off the street as a flight lieutenant. It's the 3rd highest rank from the bottom as an officer. Really strange to come straight in without any training. But the Air Force recognised my outside experience, having worked in TV, radio, as part of the Howard government. I then went to Afghanistan in 2011, and when I got there, I actually looked around and thought, wow, all these people have similar backgrounds to me. There was a famous TV chef, there was the producer of that TV show, Mick Tuck, who now is the producer of American Horror Story, and they're all Navy and Air Force and Army reservists working in Afghanistan with me. And so I thought, what am I going to do here? They've all got similar backgrounds, they've been journalists. So I actually came up with the very first media spokesperson training package after 11 years of the war in Afghanistan. They were putting people up on camera to talk to international media, and some had never spoken to the media before. So the package I developed for ISAF, the International Security Assistance Force, was a 2-hour, really intense package, which could be trained, I could train anybody. Anyone here, you could sit down with me for 2 hours and you could walk out ready to face international media. And that's exactly what we did. We put people up to talk to the media from all over the world. Got back from a 6-month appointment in Afghanistan, got a little bit sidetracked and went into politics myself. And for those of you who are here in Newcastle, the campaign just got bigger and bigger. I was still working for the Air Force pretty much the whole time. I had 2 lives for about 18 months there. I'd work at the RAF base, and then 5 p.m. I would turn on the politician thing. We got so much support. We had 400 people on the day help us, volunteers. There's Dad there. He's very happy. He was going to win. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. But we're really, really proud of the campaign we ran. And it'll open up so many doors for me. You probably saw this thing driving around everywhere in Newcastle. There's nothing I would do differently. I ran a really positive campaign. I learned so much myself as a spokesperson. I was out there meeting so many people. You can only imagine now working in PR, the kind of networks that I established and just putting myself out there, kissing babies. I did that whole thing as well. This ticked all the boxes, this photo. We did phone canvassing as well, and certainly the contacts I now have with our ministers, you guys see, and Prime Minister of Australia, got all their personal phone numbers, which is great. A great thing, considering I didn't win, to be able to call upon Julie Bishop if I need anything, Christopher Pyne as well. Went to Adelaide last week, did a bit of media for the Liberal Party and the Air Force, and it's really helped me now. But unfortunately I didn't win. But coming off the back of that, I decided to set up my own media training company, specialising in public speaking training and media training. Having learnt a couple of tips and tricks myself from not only being behind the camera asking questions, but also from being a spokesperson myself. Daniel mentioned before, I'm also president of Hunter Animal Rescue. I've been involved in an organisation for the last 7 years. Our Facebook page, doing all their PR, has 24,000 followers. It's an incredibly active page. So from a PR point of view, businesses who get on board with Hunter Animal Rescue, they get promoted and they have exposure to such a large target audience here in Newcastle. So that's also helped me as well. There's 2 foster dogs I just said goodbye to. I've been looking after these golden retrievers for the last 4 months. They went to their new home. They're my 2 there. They went to their new home on Sunday night in Greta. So, Jaimie Abbott Communications is kind of a culmination of all my experience, having worked as a journalist, seeing people make so many mistakes on camera and struggle to get their message across. When I knew what I was looking for as a journalist, I needed that 6-second grab for them to get into the news story. So I actually set it up just to do media interview training, public speaking training, and media release writing training. However, what I have found in the last couple of months is there is so much demand here for public relations. So as I said before in my 60 seconds, small businesses who want free publicity, they want to know what journalists need and how they can use and leverage off media to be able to get free exposure without having to pay thousands of dollars in advertising costs just to have a $2,000 quarter-page ad in the Newcastle Herald. So I brought my banner along today because I love my banner, and Rebecca actually did this banner for me, so it shows off her skills as well. But, so basically I'm doing all sorts of publicity. I've got a charity group at the moment who wanted some PR, but they don't have a huge budget. So what I'm able to do for them is a trivia night where I guarantee that they can pay me a service unless, on the proviso, I make them $5,000 profit. And I can make that with my eyes closed. From my years of Hunter Animal Rescue fundraising. So I'll put together a trivia night, I'll MC it, I'll come up with all the questions, I will guarantee we make $5,000 profit, I'll get sponsors for them. Then they've got a $5,000 kitty they can use for PR, advertising, or whatever they like. So that's one of the things I actually offer mostly charities who would be able to fundraise for an event. I also do public speaking training, product business launches, VIP opening nights, celebrity endorsements. I can open up doors for people if they need certain access to business people, politicians, and I also am a host and MC myself, where people can use me for any sort of event. So I thought I would just spend the last couple of minutes telling you a little bit about some tips and tricks on what I actually teach to some of my clients, and you might be able to use this yourself when you're dealing one-on-one with a client. So if I'm going into a meeting for myself, for example, I ask myself, as a result of this event or this interview or this meeting, who's my audience? So I really refine that. Is it a client? Is it a group of pensioners if I'm doing a public speaking event, for example? What do I want them to think, feel, or do? And it might be as simple as a one-on-one with your boss. If you work in a large place, you want your boss to think you're doing a great job and I want to get a promotion. Therefore, my keywords and phrases are going to be, and this is something I actually nut out. I normally do it in my head now, after doing this for so many years, but it really helps with my confidence level to go into a meeting or a group of people like this and know exactly what I'm trying to achieve. Another great tip that I actually do is whenever I say something, I normally follow this little formula. I make a statement, back it up with evidence, and then I have an explanation or a call to action. To give you an example of how you can use this, I'll say something like, look, too many animals in Australia are put to sleep every year. It's a statement. Back it up. 250,000 healthy dogs and cats are put to sleep in Hunter Region pounds, or in Australian pounds, every year. Explanation or a call to action, that's why we want people to come to Hunter Animal Rescue to adopt their next cat or dog. I use this in politics all the time. I would say in the Gillard government, I could use that without trying to be apolitical, I'd say the Gillard government is the most incompetent government in Australia's history. Evidence, and we've introduced a carbon tax when Australians are already doing it incredibly tough. And then call to action, that's why we need to vote in, you need to vote in me as your local member to see a change of government. So you can apply this to anything in your own businesses, have a think about this, and these are the types of little techniques I give people in the public speaking and training session. So thank you very much for listening to me. I've tried to get it all out in 10 minutes. Are there any questions at all?
Yeah.
Yes.
Was it the BBX competition?
The what?
Karaoke competition. Was it the BBX competition?
The BBX?
Yeah, that's
No.
the biggest one in Australia.
Oh, really? No, this was the Australian National Karaoke Championships.
Wow.
Yeah, and the winner went to Finland. I didn't win that.
All right, Jaimie, since
Bye-bye.
you get the rest.
No, it's too early in the morning. It's too early in the morning. I'll leave the night time.
Another question?
So how small a business can you do? Can you deal with? You talk about just talking an individual, basis, one-on-one, so someone's just in business for themselves, or
Yeah, I
up to
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, probably 50% of my clients are sole traders. And that, the whole reason of employing a PR agency is so you can focus on your business and do what you need to do on the operational side, and I'll come in and help you promote it and get leverage through the media. So
we can talk before about looking for a start business. Are you looking for someone who's got a reasonable angle?
I can find it. Yeah, no matter what. So that T1 Golf the other day, I do an interview and I'm able to draw out the most dramatic thing I possibly can find because I'm trained as a journalist. We'll blow stories out of proportion. I learned that but it actually helps PR businesses because something which you would not think is newsworthy, I can make newsworthy and put that in the opening line of a media release to draw attention to your business.
People with tongues and jam. Well, guys, put your hands together.